If you skip this message, you may repeat the same painful loop for years. Waking up each day, running harder, doing more, but never feeling closer. That is the silent trap. That is the invisible cage. And right now, as you listen, you are either breaking free or you are locking the door tighter. For 27 mornings, at the same hour, in the same chair, with no phone, no affirmations, no vision boards, one man sat in silence. His friends whispered that he was losing his edge. His mentors feared he was falling behind. But on the 28th day, without sending a message, without launching a plan, without forcing a single move, 3 impossible opportunities arrived in his inbox. Too random to explain, too perfect to ignore. What looked like doing nothing was the most dangerous thing of all. He was dismantling the frequency of struggle. He was deleting the identity that worshipped effort. He was no longer performing for the universe. He was finally speaking its real language. And here is the truth that most never dare to face. The quantum field does not reward your effort. It does not care about your hustle. It calculates only one thing: coherence. Your thoughts are electric. Your heart is magnetic. Together, they broadcast a signature that never turns off. Not your goals, not your rituals, only your state. And if that state screams lack, the field will echo lack back to you forever. This is why so many burn out. This is why timelines refuse to collapse. You may be doing everything right while transmitting it is not working. That contradiction is what holds you prisoner. And until you face it, nothing will shift. The question is simple. If you stopped every effort today, would your energy still be strong enough to pull your future toward you right now? Think about this. How many times have you followed the rules? You worked harder. You stayed later. You checked every box. Yet life still looked the same. Can you feel the sting of that cycle? Can you feel the exhaustion of giving everything only to wake up to nothing new? That is not failure. That is frequency. Modern physics has already shown us the evidence. In laboratories across the world, particles shift behavior the moment they are observed. Reality bends not to the action, but to the signal behind it. You are the observer. Your energy is the experiment. And whether you realize it or not, your frequency is the invisible script writing your future. Now, here is the haunting part. Most people believe they are creating momentum. They are chasing, striving, grinding. But beneath the surface, their nervous system is broadcasting lack. Their body is broadcasting fear. And the field listens. It always listens. The result is more of the same. More lack, more fear, more chasing. Do you see why effort alone is not enough? Do you see why people burn out and still feel unseen by the universe? They are fluent in the language of action, but the field speaks only frequency. And if your signal is scrambled, your results will always be delayed, distorted, or denied. Imagine for a moment that your entire life is a broadcast tower. Every thought is a pulse of electricity. Every heartbeat is a wave of magnetism. Together, they create your signature. Unique, constant, relentless. You cannot turn it off. You cannot hide it. The only question is whether that signal is aligned with abundance or chained to scarcity. And if you are honest, what is your broadcast right now? Are you transmitting, "I am ready"? Or are you transmitting it is not working"? Are you radiating freedom? Or are you radiating desperation? Because the field does not decode your words. It decodes your state. The man in Texas understood this without words. By sitting in silence, he stripped away the false layers. He stopped performing. He stopped pleading. He stopped negotiating with the universe. Instead, he remembered. He remembered that alignment is not earned. It is returned to. And when he returned, the field answered with precision. 3 opportunities, each one impossible to predict, each one arriving without effort. Was it random? Or was it resonance? That is the question you must wrestle with, because here is the real danger. If you ignore this truth, you may spend the next decade exhausting yourself. You may follow every strategy, buy every program, repeat every ritual, and still wonder why nothing changes. The danger is not that you fail. The danger is that you succeed at the wrong frequency and still feel empty. This is the moment of choice. Will you keep running in the invisible cage? Or will you pause, recalibrate, and finally broadcast the signal that the field cannot ignore? This is not theory. This is physics. This is biology. This is the coherence of your nervous system syncing with the truth of who you are. Studies at the HeartMath Institute prove it. The human heart produces an electromagnetic field thousands of times stronger than the brain. When thought and heart align, the signal becomes clear, coherent, undeniable. So I ask you again, if you stopped striving today, if you dropped every ritual, every checklist, every demand, would your energy still be magnetic enough to pull your future toward you? This is the razor's edge. This is the truth you are meant to hear right now. Comment these words to claim your shift. Say it with conviction. I am the signal. Type it below, not for me, for yourself. Because the moment you declare it, you begin to recalibrate. You begin to collapse the timelines that have trapped you. You begin to step into coherence. Do not wait. Do not hesitate. Do not assume tomorrow will give you another chance. Tomorrow will only mirror today unless you shift your signal now. So claim it, declare it, write it. I am the signal. And let the field finally hear the truth of who you are. Your consciousness is the true architect of your life. Let that sentence sink into your body. Every result you see around you right now is not an accident. It is not random. It is the direct reflection of your consciousness. The state you have been living in is the blueprint that reality has been faithfully building from. And here is the part that feels both terrifying and liberating. Nothing will change until you change who you are being. Ask yourself, have you been blaming circumstances? Have you been waiting for luck? Have you been praying for rescue while secretly doubting it will ever come? The universe is not fooled by your words. It listens to the frequency of your being. It listens to the energy behind the mask. This is where the observer effect steps in. Physics proves what mystics whispered for centuries. When an observer pays attention, the wave of probability collapses into a concrete outcome. Observation makes the invisible visible. But here is what they forget to tell you. It is not just the act of looking. It is the emotional charge you bring to what you look at. Your consciousness filters infinity into the single path you walk. Think of the mirror again. The reflection does not change until you change your expression. So why do you keep smiling on the outside while staying anchored in lack on the inside? Why do you keep affirming abundance while embodying scarcity? That contradiction is why the loop continues. Neville Goddard taught it clearly. Live in the end. Dwell mentally and emotionally in the state of the wish fulfilled, not in hope, in embodiment. Joe Dispenza translates it into neuroscience. Install the neurological hardware of a new identity. Practice the state until the brain wires it as normal. Abraham Hicks reminds you simply, you must feel it before you see it. And here is the proof you cannot ignore. Your brain and body cannot tell the difference between what you imagine vividly and what you experience physically. Gratitude for a future as if it has already happened fires the same circuits as gratitude for the present. The chemistry floods the body. The signature shifts. You become a match. The field notices. So I ask you directly, who are you being right now? Are you the version of yourself who keeps waiting? Or are you the version who has decided? Because one decision changes the signal. And when the signal changes, the field reorganizes. Let us make this real with a story you know. Oprah Winfrey, a young girl born into poverty in Mississippi, abused, dismissed. Every statistic predicted she would vanish into obscurity, but she chose differently. She shifted her inner dialogue. She refused to let circumstance define her identity. She embodied worthiness long before the world reflected it back. She became the signal of abundance and influence. Today, she is one of the most powerful women alive. That did not begin with fame or money. It began with consciousness. Her story is not meant to inspire you from a distance. It is evidence. Proof that shifting state changes destiny. Proof that inner embodiment precedes outer recognition. If she can rewrite reality from such darkness, what excuse will you hold on to? Feel the urgency in this. Every moment you delay, you are broadcasting the old code. Every day you postpone, you are choosing to remain in the same energetic architecture. Life is not waiting. It is responding, right now. So I call you into action. Do not just watch this. Engage with it. Comment below these exact words. I am the architect. Declare it so your nervous system hears your voice. Hit like now to lock it into your body as action. Small physical moves carry enormous energetic weight. Do not underestimate this. The universe does not need more of your wishing. It needs the vibration of your decision, the signal of coherence, the alignment of thought and feeling. When that happens, the impossible becomes inevitable. And so I leave you with this pressing question. If consciousness is the architect, what role does the brain play as the builder? What happens inside the control center of your body when you dare to install a new identity? The answer will change the way you see your mind forever. Because the harder you try, the louder you broadcast lack. This is the paradox no one warns you about. The very effort you believe will save you is the same effort that chains you tighter. The more you beg, the more you plead, the more you push. The universe does not hear ambition. It hears desperation. And desperation is the signal that blocks the flow you crave. Think about the times you prayed for something with every cell in your body. You stayed up late. You pushed harder. You whispered, I need this more than anything. And still nothing shifted. Why? Because the field does not mirror your words. It mirrors your state. And your state was lack. The more you struggle to attract, the more you repel. The more you fight to manifest, the more the field reflects back emptiness. You think you are closing the gap, but every act of resistance broadcasts. It is not here yet, and the field believes you. Psychology has already shown us this trap. Daniel Wegner's research proved it decades ago. The harder you try to suppress a thought, the stronger it rebounds. Try not to think of a white bear, and suddenly the bear is all you see. Your nervous system is wired the same way. Try not to feel lack, and you amplify lack. Try not to feel fear, and the fear multiplies. Now imagine how this plays out in manifestation. Every time you say, I must succeed, the signal underneath says, I am not succeeding. Every time you say, I cannot wait, the signal underneath says, I am still waiting. And the field answers the hidden broadcast, not the surface desire. There was a man in California, a successful investor by every outside measure. Yet inside, he was consumed with one obsession. I must land the next big deal right now. He called, he hustled, he strategized. Nothing worked. His body was screaming. Scarcity even as his words shouted ambition. Then he stopped. He surrendered the obsession. For 2 months, he released the pressure, focusing only on being present. And then, almost without trying, a multi-million-dollar deal fell into his lap. Opportunity arrived not because he chased it, but because he stopped transmitting desperation. Do you see the paradox? Action without alignment is resistance, and resistance is the loudest frequency of all. So ask yourself right now, how many times have you burned yourself out believing effort would force the universe to respond. How many times have you woken up exhausted, wondering why the breakthrough has not arrived? The truth is painful but liberating. It was never your work ethic holding you back. It was your frequency. This is why the hustle culture keeps people stuck. They mistake exhaustion for progress. They mistake noise for momentum. But the field does not calculate sweat. It calculates coherence. And coherence cannot exist inside desperation. You might be sitting right now with a plan in your hand, a vision board on your wall, and still feel the ache of lack in your chest. You might be repeating affirmations while your nervous system vibrates with fear. You might be posting positivity online while your body whispers quietly, it is not working. And the field listens to the whisper. Always. This is why timelines refuse to collapse. This is why you feel like you are running in place. The very force you believe will unlock the door is the same force keeping it locked. Effort without alignment is resistance disguised as progress. Can you feel the urgency of this truth? Can you feel the weight of realizing that years of effort may have only broadcasted lack louder? This is not to blame you. This is to wake you, to remind you that you are not powerless, that the cage was never locked, that the key is not more struggle, but less. So I ask you directly, have you been exhausting yourself, believing that if you just tried harder, it would finally work? If so, this is your release. This is your chance to drop the weight right now. If you have ever pushed yourself to the edge and still received nothing, then let this be the moment you stop. Let this be the moment you reclaim your energy. Hit the like button as a signal to yourself. A signal that says, I will not broadcast lack any longer. Because here is the secret hidden in the paradox. The moment you stop trying to force reality, you stop transmitting lack. And when you stop transmitting lack, the field finally has space to deliver abundance. So take a breath. Feel the cage fall away. Realize that you were never behind. Realize that nothing was missing. Realize that all along, it was your resistance that created the illusion of distance. The field is not testing you. It is not withholding from you. It is simply reflecting the signal you send. Change the signal, and the reflection changes instantly. So, the question becomes urgent. How do you escape the trap of effort? How do you step beyond the paradox and enter the state of already having? The answer is not in more doing. It is in being. It is in shifting from lack to presence, from effort to embodiment, from wanting to knowing. And that is what we uncover next. The path out of the prison of striving, the gateway into the state of I am. So listen carefully, because the deeper truth is waiting. The question you must carry with you now is this: how do you break free from the trap of effort and step into the state of being right here, right now? By stopping the chase for the future and beginning to become in this very moment. Let that sentence strike you, because most of your life you have been running toward the next goal, running toward the next version of yourself, running toward the promise that someday it will all make sense. But the universe is not responding to someday. It only responds to now. How many times have you said, I will be happy when? I will be free when? I will feel complete when? Those words are poison. They are the prison of time. They trap you in an endless loop where the present is never enough. And here is the secret. No one dares to tell you. The universe does not react to I will. It reacts only to I am. Think about this. Every morning when you wake up and project your joy into the future, you broadcast lack into the present. And the field mirrors lack back to you with ruthless precision. That is why so many people are exhausted. They are not living. They are rehearsing, waiting for a life that never arrives, because the signal is always someday. Science confirms the danger of this trap. Your brain does not distinguish between memory and imagination when the emotion is real. When you feel it deeply, your nervous system believes it is happening now. This means that the future you dream of can only be unlocked when you embody it. In the present, not when you chase it, not when you hope for it, when you become it. There was a single mother in Chicago. She was working 2 jobs, barely paying the bills. Every morning for 90 seconds, she practiced something called the heartbeat connection. 90 seconds. She placed her hand on her chest, breathed slowly, and aligned her thoughts with gratitude, as if the life she longed for was already here. She did not beg. She did not chase. She simply embodied the state of I am. 6 weeks later, she received a job offer with double the salary. The breakthrough did not arrive when she pushed harder. It arrived when she stopped waiting for tomorrow and became her future in the present. Do you see the power hidden in this shift? When you step out of the illusion of I will and enter the authority of I am, reality bends. The field does not hesitate. It listens. It mirrors. It delivers. So I ask you, how many moments of your life have been wasted rehearsing a future instead of living it now? How many times have you looked at your vision board as if it were far away, when in truth, the only way to receive it is to embody it here. This is the urgency of the present. Every second you project into tomorrow is a second lost to coherence. Every second you wait is a second you broadcast lack. And every second you broadcast lack, the field multiplies it. Stop. Feel your breath. Feel your heartbeat. Anchor yourself here. This is the only place where manifestation can occur. Not in the dream of tomorrow, in the embodiment of today. Do not let this pass. Try it now. Close your eyes and practice the heartbeat connection for 90 seconds. Let your thoughts and heart pulse together. Then comment these words with conviction. I choose the present. Type it, claim it, declare it. Because every declaration is a recalibration. The universe is listening. It is not waiting for you to achieve more. It is waiting for you to embody now. So here is the rising question. If you can access the power of I am in this moment, how do you make it last? How do you sustain the state of presence so it does not fade the moment life challenges you again? Because the secret is not only entering the state, the secret is reprogramming your brain so the state becomes natural. So presence becomes your default. That is what we must uncover next. The way to rewire the mind so the signal of now does not slip away. So hear this. The cage of I will ends today. The doorway of I am is wide open. The only step left is to learn how to stay there. And that is the revelation waiting in the next part. The science of rewiring. The art of permanence. The path from fleeting glimpses of presence into an unshakable state of being. That is the power of neuroplasticity. Your brain is not fixed. It is not a rigid machine locked into old patterns forever. Your brain is alive. It is a living software capable of rewriting its own code at any moment. And this single truth changes everything. For years you may have believed that you are trapped by who you are. Trapped by old habits, trapped by old memories, trapped by the painful stories written into your nervous system. But science has shattered that lie. The brain can rewire. The brain can reset. The brain can be programmed for a new reality. Do you realize what this means? It means your past is not your prison. It means the identity you carried for decades can dissolve. It means every fear, every trauma, every self-sabotaging loop can be replaced by something higher. Harvard researchers in 2011 proved it. They scanned the brains of people who meditated consistently. What they discovered shook the scientific world. Meditation was not just calming, it was reconstructing. Gray matter increased, emotional regulation improved. Neural pathways shifted toward balance, toward clarity, toward strength. Think about that. Sitting in silence was not just spiritual. It was neurological engineering. Every breath, every moment of awareness, carving a new map inside the brain. A map leading to freedom. Now let me take you to Florida. A war veteran came home carrying invisible wounds. Post-traumatic stress haunted him day and night. Explosions replayed in his mind. Anxiety stalked him in silence. Doctors told him he would carry it for life, but he refused to surrender. He began to meditate. At first, only minutes each day. Slowly, something shifted. The flashbacks loosened. The fear softened. His brain was rewiring. Months later, he was not just surviving. He was thriving. He became a speaker, a guide, a man once broken, now inspiring. Thousands. That is the miracle of neuroplasticity. So I ask you, if your brain can change, why are you still living as if it cannot? Why are you repeating the same stories when the hardware has already given you permission to rewrite the script? Your mind is a software waiting for an update. Every thought is a line of code. Every emotion is a program running in the background. And the question is urgent. What are you coding right now? Are you installing fear, or are you installing freedom? This is why awareness is not optional. Every repetition engraves the brain. Every emotion strengthens a pathway. If you keep rehearsing lack, you etch lack into your circuits. If you keep embodying fear, you carve fear into your system. But if you practice coherence, if you practice gratitude, if you practice presence, those pathways expand. The old dissolves. The new emerges. You are not a prisoner of biology. You are the architect of it. Take this seriously. Because every day you delay, the old pathways grow stronger. Every moment you procrastinate, the brain reinforces the cage. But the moment you choose, the moment you practice differently, the rewiring begins. So try this now. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Imagine the version of yourself you long to become. Not in the future, but now. Let your brain feel it. Let your nervous system encode it. This is not fantasy. This is neuroplasticity in action. Declare it in the comments. Write these words. I reprogram myself. Let the act of typing become the first signal to your brain that change has begun. Because the truth is undeniable. Your brain will follow your focus. It will strengthen what you repeat. It will build what you embody. So the danger is not in being stuck. The danger is in believing you cannot move. The science proves otherwise. The stories prove otherwise. The veteran in Florida proves otherwise. But here is the deeper question. If the brain is this powerful, if it can rebuild itself completely, then why do so many people still fail to step into their new self? What invisible force holds them locked in the old code? That is what we must reveal next. Because the brain can change. The pathways can reset. The software can update. But something else stands in the way. Something not physical, but emotional. So listen carefully. Because the next truth is not about the brain. It is about the silent enemy that keeps you from stepping fully into your new reality. The question is waiting for you now. If your brain can change, what truly stops you from becoming the new version of yourself? That is fear, the most silent enemy of all. It hides in plain sight, not in the shadows where you expect it, but in the quiet hesitation before you act, in the small delay before you speak, in the endless postponing of what you know you must do. Fear is the architect of procrastination, and procrastination is not laziness. It is the body's signal that your old identity is still in control. You tell yourself, I will start tomorrow. I will launch when I am ready. I will act when the timing is perfect. But tomorrow never comes. Readiness never arrives. The perfect moment never appears. And all the while, fear tightens its grip. Have you noticed it? That subtle anxiety when you think of making the call, sending the application, speaking your truth. Your heart races. Your mind stalls. You call it delay. You call it distraction. But it is fear disguising itself as logic. Fear pretending to protect you while it silently steals your future. Science has already exposed this illusion. Mel Robbins, through her groundbreaking work, revealed the power of the 5-second rule. When you count backward, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and move before hesitation takes over, you sever the chain of fear. You override the nervous system's freeze. You step into momentum before your mind has time to invent excuses. This is not theory. This is biology. Action within 5 seconds interrupts the old programming. It shifts your body from paralysis into power. And there was a student in California who proved it. He was failing repeatedly, dropping out, afraid to take chances, afraid to face rejection. His life was collapsing under the weight of procrastination. Until one day, he used the 5-second rule. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He made a call he had been avoiding for months. That single action sparked a chain reaction. He began to use the rule every day. One step, one leap, one decision after another. Within years, he transformed from a struggling student into the founder of a multi-million-dollar startup. Fear had once owned him. Now he owned fear. So I ask you, how many dreams have you buried under the disguise of later? How many times have you said not today and silently killed the future you were meant to live? This is the moment to stop. This is the moment to act. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel ready. Now. Count it with me. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. If you have ever felt trapped in the cycle of hesitation, declare your freedom now. Type these words in the comments. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I act. Let the declaration break the pattern. Let the act of typing become the first rebellion against fear. Because fear is not a sign to stop. Fear is proof you are on the edge of transformation. Fear only rises when you are about to cross the threshold into growth. The danger is not feeling fear. The danger is obeying it. So the next time fear whispers, wait, count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Move. Break the loop. Claim your power. Do you feel the urgency? Can you sense the truth that years of your life have been stolen by hesitation? Every delay is a death of possibility. Every postponement a funeral for your potential. But you are not bound to that fate. The key is already in your hand. 5 seconds is all it takes to unlock the door. But there is a deeper question rising now. Because once you act, once you break through fear, how do you know you are moving from the right self? How do you know the actions you take belong to your authentic essence, not to another mask of fear disguised as ambition? That is the question waiting for us next. Because action without alignment can be just another prison. The next truth will reveal how to recognize when you are living from your highest self and not from the false identity fear once built for you. Because the universe only recognizes you when you are real, not when you are performing, not when you are pretending, not when you are chasing validation from a world that barely notices. The universe is deaf to the masks you wear. It only listens when your inner truth and your outer action are aligned. That alignment is authenticity, and authenticity is the signal the field cannot ignore. Think about how often you have hidden, how often you said yes when your heart screamed no, how often you posted the polished version while burying the raw truth. Each time you betrayed yourself, you weakened your signal. Each time you played a role, you broadcast static. The universe cannot respond to static. It responds to coherence. Psychology has already confirmed this. People who live authentically report lower stress, higher resilience, and magnetic influence. They are not forcing attraction. They are attracting effortlessly because their energy is clean. No contradiction, no performance, just alignment. Now listen to this story. A young YouTuber in Seattle was tired of faking. He stopped copying trends. He stopped chasing views. He began to speak raw truth, vulnerable, unpolished, real. At first, nothing happened. His numbers stayed small, 2,000 subscribers. But he refused to wear a mask again. He chose authenticity every single day. And then the shift came. In 1 year, his channel exploded to 500,000 subscribers. Why? Because authenticity resonates at a frequency that audiences feel in their bones. The field amplified him because he was finally broadcasting his true signal. So ask yourself, where are you still hiding? Where are you still betraying your own values just to belong? Where are you still acting like someone else's version of success? And more importantly, what is it costing you? Because the cost of inauthenticity is everything. It drains your energy. It erodes your confidence. It silences your true voice. And worst of all, it disconnects you from the very field that is designed to respond to you. Can you feel the urgency of this truth? Can you feel the fire in your chest as you realize the prison was never external? It was the mask you wore. The second you drop it, the second you live aligned, the universe finally sees you. Do not waste another moment pretending. Type it now as a declaration. I choose to be real. I choose authenticity. Comment it below, not for the algorithm, for yourself, for your nervous system to hear the truth. I choose to live real. Because here is the paradox. When you stop performing, you start attracting. When you stop trying to please, you begin to magnetize. When you live true, you no longer chase the field. The field chases you. The YouTuber in Seattle proved it. Psychology proves it. Your own body knows it. You can feel the stress lift the moment you stop lying to yourself. You can feel the coherence rise the moment your words and actions align. So what is authenticity really? It is the courage to live as if no one is watching. It is the decision to express the truth of your soul, even when the world may not applaud. It is the unshakable knowing that your worth is not in the mask, but in the essence behind it. And yet, authenticity is not the final step. There is something deeper, because even when you live real, many still cling to outcomes. They still measure their worth by results. They still attach their identity to success or failure. That attachment is another cage. So the rising question is this: what happens when you are not only authentic, but you release your grip on results entirely? What happens when you live true and let go? That is the mystery we must explore next. Because the universe responds to truth, but it multiplies truth when you release attachment. That is the signal of ultimate freedom. And that is the power waiting for you in the next revelation. That is the moment you stop clinging and allow everything to find you. Let this sink in. Because most of your life, you have been taught the opposite. Hold tighter. Work harder. Control every detail. Do not let go. But what if the very grip you believe is keeping you safe is the exact grip that is strangling your future? This is the paradox of letting go. Surrender is not weakness. It is not giving up. It is not passivity. Surrender is the release of obsession. It is the liberation from the chokehold of outcome. And only when you release outcome do you create the space for miracles to arrive. Think about how much energy you spend every day trying to control. Controlling schedules, controlling relationships, controlling money, controlling success. And yet, the more you attempt to force it, the more anxious you feel. The more you tighten your fist, the more life slips through your fingers. Psychologists call it the paradox of control. The harder you try to control, the less control you actually feel. The more you grasp, the more your nervous system screams with anxiety. It is like quicksand. Struggle harder and you sink faster. The way out is counterintuitive. You stop fighting. You let go. And only then do you rise. Listen to this story. A CEO in Silicon Valley was consumed by pressure. Every detail of her company was micromanaged. Every outcome obsessed over. She worked longer, slept less, demanded more. And yet the company stalled. Growth slowed. Anxiety spread like wildfire. Until one day, she made a radical choice. She let go. She trusted her team. She released her obsession with numbers. She focused on vision instead of control. And within 1 year, the company tripled in size. Not because she forced it, but because she freed it. Do you see it now? The art of letting go is not the end of responsibility. It is the beginning of flow. When you stop strangling the outcome, you unlock a current far more powerful than control. So let me ask you directly, where are you still clinging? Where are you still obsessed? Where are you still telling yourself that if you just hold tighter, you will finally feel safe? Be honest, because until you see it, you cannot free it. Feel the urgency of this. Every second you cling, you block the field. Every moment you obsess, you jam the signal. Letting go is not a luxury. It is survival. It is the key to coherence. So breathe, loosen the grip, declare it with me now. Type these words in the comments. I release to receive. Let the act of writing become the first surrender. Let the nervous system feel the shift. Because surrender is not mental, it is cellular. Your entire body must learn to relax and to trust. And here is the paradoxical gift. When you release your grip, life does not fall apart. It falls into place. Opportunities arrive without force. People appear without manipulation. Growth happens without exhaustion. This is not magic. It is resonance. But the greatest transformation of letting go is not in what you gain. It is in how you see. When you release the obsession with outcome, your perception changes. The world looks different. Possibilities appear where before there was only struggle. So here is the rising question. When you truly surrender, when you stop clinging and step into trust, what shifts inside your vision? What happens to the way you observe reality itself? That is the mystery waiting in the next revelation. Because letting go does not just change what comes to you. It changes the very lens through which you see the universe. And once that lens shifts, nothing looks the same again. The way you observe is the way the world appears. Let that truth pierce you, because every moment you are not just living inside reality. You are shaping it. You are collapsing infinite possibilities into a single version of life with nothing more than your attention. Your consciousness is not passive. It is not a camera recording the world. It is the measuring device that decides which world you actually experience. And that is not philosophy. That is physics. The double-slit experiment revealed the secret decades ago. When particles were not observed, they behaved like waves, infinite, free, everywhere at once. But the instant they were observed, they collapsed into matter. One possibility became reality. Observation itself created the outcome. So ask yourself, what are you observing right now? Scarcity or abundance? Fear or freedom? Survival or expansion? Because whatever you observe most consistently, you collapse into reality. This is the terrifying and liberating part. The world you live in is not fixed. It is a mirror reflecting your gaze. If your attention is locked on lack, lack becomes matter. If your focus is chained to fear, fear takes form. But if your observation shifts, the mirror shifts with it. Let me tell you a story from Boston. A psychologist was treating patients drowning in depression. Traditional therapy had failed. Medication brought little relief. Then he tried something radical. He did not tell them to fix their lives. He taught them to change their observation, to see small sparks of beauty, to notice one victory a day, to direct their awareness toward possibility instead of despair. Slowly, their minds recalibrated. Their depression began to lift, not because the external world changed, but because their observation changed. The lens shifted, and with it, the reality. Can you feel the weight of this? Can you feel the power pulsing in your chest when you realize you have been carrying the lens all along? So I ask you directly, how have you been observing yourself? As broken or as whole? As behind or as exactly on time? As powerless or as infinitely creative? The world you see is only reflecting the lens you hold. This is why so many feel trapped. They are not trapped by circumstance. They are trapped by observation. They keep staring at the same picture, collapsing the same painful timeline again and again. But today you are being given a choice. Shift the gaze and you shift the world. Look differently, and reality cannot help but bend. So claim it now. Comment these words below. 1. Choose a new observation. Let your body feel the declaration. Let your nervous system encode it. Because when you choose a new lens, you collapse a new possibility. And here is where the mystery deepens. Because observation is the key, but it is not the end. You can change your gaze, but if you do not embody what you see, the shift may dissolve. So the rising question is this: if observation creates reality, why is it that some people shift their gaze but still fail to hold the new world? Why is it that awareness alone is not enough? That is the next step we must uncover, because beyond observation lies embodiment. Beyond seeing lies becoming. And only when you embody the new vision does the universe lock it in as your truth. It is about daring to become, not pretending as if, but truly being. This is the leap most people avoid. They observe, they visualize, they even hope, but they stop short of embodiment. They stop short of living as if the future they desire is already pulsing through their veins. And the universe does not respond to hope, it responds to being. Embodiment is not about acting like you have something. It is not about wearing the mask of success while trembling inside. Embodiment is the alignment of identity. It is broadcasting from the version of you that already exists in potential and letting that frequency shape your present. Neuroscience has already revealed the mechanics. Every repeated action, every consistent choice, etches a neural pathway. Deeper into your brain, repetition hardwires identity. The more you embody, the stronger the circuit becomes until one day it is no longer practice. It is who you are. So ask yourself, are you rehearsing the old self every day? Repeating the same patterns that keep you small? Or are you rehearsing the future self, wiring it into permanence? Because one of those choices will harden into your identity. Listen to this story. A coach in Los Angeles was obsessed with the image of wealth. He drove cars he could not afford. He posted pictures designed to impress. He acted like success. But inside he was drowning in fear. His signal was contradiction. The field ignored him. Then he stopped pretending. What awaits you on the other side of complete embodiment? What unfolds when you no longer ask, no longer chase, no longer perform, because you have already become? That is the question we must face next. Because embodiment is not the final chapter. It is the doorway. And beyond that doorway lies the truth that will redefine everything. That is the moment when you no longer need it, because you have already become it. Do you hear the power in that? The paradox that ends the struggle. The secret that unchains you from the endless chase. Manifestation is not about gaining. It is not about grasping. It is not about finally reaching. Manifestation happens the moment you no longer crave, because you already are. This is the ultimate freedom. The freedom beyond desire. The freedom beyond seeking. The freedom where the universe no longer has to deliver, because the field can only mirror what you have already embodied. For years you may have been chasing money, chasing recognition, chasing love, and every chase carried the signal of not yet. Every desperate prayer whispered the frequency of lack. But the instant you collapse the chase, the instant you settle into being, the paradox unfolds. The less you need, the more arrives. The less you demand, the more flows. The less you cling, the more you receive. Listen to the story of a woman in Denver. She had been running after wealth her entire adult life. Endless side hustles, late nights of worry. Every decision built on the fear of not enough. Until one day she stopped. She made a radical choice to live simply, to embrace gratitude for what she already had. She walked away from the obsession. And then the impossible happened. She received an unexpected inheritance that transformed her life. She had more than she ever imagined, but here is the twist. By the time it arrived, she no longer needed it. She was already free. Can you feel that paradox burning inside you? Can you sense the truth that the universe is not testing you? It is teaching you to stop begging. It is teaching you to become. So I ask you directly, what would happen if you stopped craving right now? What would happen if you dropped the identity of the seeker and claimed the identity of the one who already is? This is not weakness. This is not passivity. This is alignment at its highest level. You are no longer broadcasting need. You are broadcasting truth. And the truth cannot be ignored. Take a breath. Let it land in your body. You are not on the way. You are not waiting for permission. You are not hoping for someday. You are it now. Declare it with me. Type it into the comments with unshakable conviction. I am already it. I am the signal. Say it. Write it. Anchor it. Because when you declare it, you align your nervous system with the frequency of completion. And once you align, the field reflects without hesitation. This is the end of the chase. This is the death of lack. This is the rebirth of your true self. The version that no longer prays for freedom, but radiates freedom. The version that no longer asks for abundance, but breathes abundance. The version that no longer pleads for love, but embodies love. Can you feel the urgency of this moment? Do not postpone. Do not wait for another sign. Do not convince yourself tomorrow will be different. The future is only a mirror of now. Shift now, and the reflection shifts instantly. Comment these words. I am it. I have become. I am the signal. Let the act of writing become your final act of surrender. Because when you claim it, the universe must respond. And hear me clearly. This journey does not end here. This is the beginning of freedom. The moment you collapse the chase, you step into a new reality. One where miracles are normal. One where synchronicity surrounds you. One where you no longer ask if it works, because you are the living proof that it does. So let us finish with power. Like this video if your heart is burning with truth. Save it so your future self never forgets. Share it with someone you love, because their frequency can rise with yours. Subscribe and ring the bell, because this journey is only beginning, and you cannot afford to miss what comes next. And finally, let me thank you. Out of millions of voices online, you chose this one. Out of endless videos, you chose this moment. That choice is not random. That choice is resonance. And your comment, your like, your share, your feedback, all of it fuels the mission to spread light, alignment, and truth to more people across the world. So step forward now. Claim it. Say it. Write it. I am already it. And let the universe echo back with undeniable proof. Because once you no longer need, once you no longer beg, once you no longer chase, you are finally free. That is the ultimate paradox. That is absolute freedom, and it begins now.